Eating Disorder Awareness Week, a time to really shine a light on a mental health crisis affecting so many families across Arizona and the country. So experts say eating disorders carry the highest mortality rate of any mental illness out there. So this morning we're joined by Dr. Morgan Francis with Scottsdale Premier Counseling to really talk about warning signs, things that people should be paying attention to because this affects so many people. So this is a very important week to really shine a light on this.
It really is. It helps bring awareness, psychoeducation, and break down any stigmas that we have around eating disorders, because there is a lot of misinformation out there, such as this is just a phase that a teenager may be going through, or if only they just start eating, things will get better, or they have just this obsession with fitness and that's all it is. It's a lot more than that. So NEDA Week helps us bring information in so that we can help parents, coaches, mentors know what to do.
So how do you even know that your child has an eating disorder, or is even just starting to go down that road of like this isn't good?
Yeah. So what we see is actually a teenager take a more active interest in food itself. So all of a sudden they are looking up recipes, they're wanting to get more involved, but they're also really concerned about weight gain, or they're concerned about calories. Maybe they are cutting out food groups such as carbs. That's a big one that I often see the most. They're afraid to eat sugar. They'll create these pseudo rules that starts off with maybe good intention, but then it becomes obsessive, meaning that the person can't stop thinking about food and things start to become difficult. So we'll see withdrawal from social relationships. They're spending more time in the room. They're spending more time at the gym. They are spending time body checking, meaning they are using the scale. They are measuring their food. They are doing more selfies, but in a way that shows before and afters versus just being in a picture.
So then how do you even approach that? Because I would imagine this is a very delicate situation, and they're probably not going to just come out and be like, absolutely, I have an eating disorder. So how do you even approach it just cautiously?
Well, and you bring up a really good point. So many teenagers don't even feel like they're sick enough to even come into a doctor's office.
I mean, they could just be like, I'm just watching my weight.
Correct. So they feel it's healthy. This is what I should be doing. However, how I define health is making sure we have variety of food and a volume of food that's sufficient enough to give you energy. Because remember, eating disorders are mental health disorders. So it really becomes obsessive and it interferes with the quality of the person's life. So I have, for example, a teenager that was brought into me because the dentist referred her because there was significant increase in cavities from bulimia nervosa. I've also had pediatricians send their clients over to me because they're seeing things that they find too drastic in a short amount of time, and or a teenage girl may lose her menstrual cycle. So that's another area that is important to make sure you're reaching out to your pediatrician and seeking that medical support so you don't feel as a parent that you have to know exactly what to do.
Is most of it girls, or do you see this in boys as well?
I see this in boys. I see this a lot with my athletic boys, so boys that are in sports and they're very active, and maybe they have been told they need to lean out or cut or even get bigger, spend more time in the gym, lift more weights, put more, muscle mass on. And that can be really hard for a teenager to understand. And there's also a lot of pressure for boys to look a certain way.
I know, that social media. I mean, you just scroll and you just see everybody. You're like, why don't I have a six-pack?
Exactly. It's really challenging.
Yeah.
So if we're seeing your teenager spend more time on social media in a way that they're feeling insecure, and we know through research this does happen, that is definitely a red flag and something to really pay attention to.
What kind of resources are out there for parents if they do think my child is suffering and they need help?
Well, one of the things, again, is to make sure you're reaching out to a clinician that is specialized in this area. This isn't something we would go for a general practitioner. We would want to make sure that the child has a registered dietitian that specializes in eating disorders. We also make sure that the medical provider also has information that they can help give you. And then, of course, talk to your kid. Say, I'm concerned. I'm noticing some changes. We want to lead with observation more than judgment. And again, don't feel that you have to have all the answers, and let them know that you love them no matter what. And make sure that we're not bringing in diet talk into the conversation or commenting on their body. I often tell my parents, a confident kid is one that knows that you are confident with your body as well.
I like that. Observation, not an accusation.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Morgan Francis, always so good.
Thank
always
you.
just such a wealth of information.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So today